Radhe Radhe. Happy New Year and Happy Bhakti Divas for 2022. Mummy and I are here to present our recap video for the first class of 2022.
Radhe Radhe, everybody.
So today we covered chapter 4, verses 25, 26, and 27. As always, quiz question. We had an interesting way, hopefully, that everyone got with regards to wishes for the new year. And then also saw a different kind of question for fill in the blanks and forming pairs to practice some Sanskrit as well. And then chapter 4, verse 25, we see Sri Krishna presenting what is known as perfect worship. Two kinds. One is for celestial gods versus what is perfect worship, which is offering one's self as a sacrifice, oneself as a soul as sacrifice to the Supreme. So we were reminded of some previous verses from chapter 4 and 3 with regards to celestial offerings and material rewards. But here the real takeaway is about Atma Samarpan and Atma Huti. As Mummy explained, Samarpan and Ahuti, the second part of Atma Huti. And we also saw 6 aspects of surrender briefly. Mummy, would you like to help remind us of those?
Yes, Gagan, thank you. And so Samarpan means surrender and Ahuti means offering. Now surrender has 6 aspects. So one has to basically transcend through worshipping. And how does worship happens? It is most successfully done in a systematic manner by taking the name and form of the God, and then experiencing it in the subtler state until the mind transcends to that state whereby every action of a person is going to be as a yagna. Now the 6 aspects of surrender are: one is to desire only in accordance with the desire of God. Number 2, not to desire against the desire of God. Number 3, to have firm faith that God is protecting us. Number 4, to maintain an attitude of gratitude towards God. Number 5, to see everything we possess as belonging to God. And lastly, and very important one, is to give up the pride of surrendering. So we had a good discussion on that. You can take over, Gagan.
Yes, absolutely. 6 aspects or conditions of surrender, as you said. And then chapter 4, verse 26, senses and sensibility, or how to utilize our senses with sensibility. Again, opposing, diametrically opposite perspectives here that Sri Krishna provides. One is the one with restraint, giving up pretty much almost all use of one's senses in that sacrificial fire of restraint, versus instead utilizing one's senses as a sacrifice in the fire of senses in a way that Swamiji always says, sublimation, channeling, dovetailing, and transforming the use of those senses so that they can be used to appreciate and behold the glory of the Supreme Lord. So the example we gave was, I think, chapter 2, verse 61, the story of King Ambarish from the Srimad Bhagavatam, how he used to chant the names of God, listen to kirtans and narrations, massage the feet of devotees of the Lord, and so on. All this is important because there is Hatha Yoga, the first part of this verse, but it's rather difficult. Also, the risk of downfall from that path is rather high, whereas with Bhakti Yoga, that risk of downfall is much, much lower. Chapter 4, verse 27, then only one kind of sacrifice is mentioned, but in this continuing evolving series of sacrifices that Sri Krishna mentions. So in this one, it is the sacrifice based on controlling the mind and senses, inspired by knowledge. I think the catchphrase we gave there was no, no, kind of like no, 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 but here it's no, knowledge. We're probably seeing from Sri Krishna that the path is extremely difficult. So Jnana Yoga, Jnana Yoga, probably a no for a lot of us. Instead, Bhakti Yoga. So that is chapter 4, verse 27. Again, higher risk of downfall if one pursues it. But as Sri Krishna himself says in the Srimad Bhagavatam, in the Uddhav Gita, it is only for a select group of renunciants, very, very advanced stages of renunciation. Therefore, again, this concept of identifying ourselves as the soul, distinct from the body, etc., one can practice that, but it takes a lot of great effort. The effort on the path of our spiritual journeys aided by Bhakti Yoga instead is much, much simpler. And it is still always one of the three paths to supreme elevation and perfection, as Sri Krishna says. So important word for me, as I was suggesting, is sublime, sublimated. And Mummy, any important Sanskrit words for you?
So today's very important Sanskrit word is Jhuvati. Jhuvati means sacrifice. And this word has come in all the three verses today. Jhuvati, sacrifice. So we have to learn to sacrifice in the real meaning. In the real meaning means not the symbolic meaning, whereby we learn to do everything for the pleasure of God. Continue doing our actions, but remaining in inactions and not creating any karmic reactions.
Yes, as you said, outward action, inward inaction, therefore no karmic reaction. So with that, that's a quick summary of chapter 4, verses 25, 26, and 27. Again, thank you all for the wonderful discussion also at the end of class. Truly, truly kind and humbling words. But again, it's through the grace of God and Guru Swamiji that we get this energy and opportunity to take part in some of this. Again, thank you so much. Happy New Year. Happy Bhakti Divas. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe, and thank you very much. Happy Bhakti Divas. Radhe Radhe.